This week, I'm going to go through top 5 cigars that I smoked in 2017. There's really no rhyme or reason other than they're just 5 cigars that I was really digging smoking in 2017. If I can find my camera. I think my camera's over there. Hi. Hey. Yeah. So my 5 cigars for 2017. Again, they're just general cigars that I really enjoyed smoking in 2017, not necessarily released in that year or any other qualification other than stuff that I've been digging, as well as a little bit about where the hell I've been over the past few months. So you'll get some insights into that as well. Then we're going to talk about, I have to actually bug out to a meeting, but the Joes, very competently, are going to talk about the do's and don'ts for cigar lounge etiquette. Now, they've given me a little preview as to what they're going to talk about, and I'm like, wow, I never really considered that was, in this case, a don't for a cigar lounge etiquette. So it should be a very entertaining segment if they got some new stuff, new shenanigans they're going to call out in cigar lounges. And then for the Stogies of the week, they've got all kinds of fine cigars to talk about and review. And if I can bring up my list fast enough, they will include some from AJ Fernandez, La Aurora, Drew Estate, and Debonair. So stay tuned. This is the Stogie Geek Show. This is a Security Weekly production. Broadcasting live from G-Unit Studios in Rhode Island, it's the show where cigars burn slow, ashes fall fast, and cocktails flow steady. It's the Stogie Geek Show. A hat tip, can we play that?
Yeah, one more time.
Can I hear a...
Yes! Yes!
Yeah!
Enjoy the dirt.
Guests and friends here in studio, including a regular cast of characters, Mr. Joe Hollywood to my right.
How are you?
That's awesome. Joe D's here. Rainman's here. What's going on, Joe D?
Roundtable discussions.
Havana Cigar Club, located in Warwick, Rhode Island, is a great place to enjoy a drink and a cigar. Stogie Geeks listeners can find a $5 off coupon on our website by clicking the HCC logo. Hey, welcome everyone to the Stogie Geek Show. I'm your host, Paul Asadoorian. This is episode 260. I am here with both Joes, multi-Joe, Joe times 2. Mr. Hollywood is here to my right. Welcome. I'm doing fantastic. Yourself?
Good. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, it's great. Rainman is here. Welcome Rainman. What's going on?
Brother?
Yes, yes. Like I said, I'll only be here for the first segment. There's actually people flying in for some meetings and such, so I will have to bug out. But
been a busy boy.
I've been very busy. Let's talk first about what we're smoking today. I actually am bucking the system. I didn't get one of those nice Hirochi Urbana cigars, although I probably could have. I'm smoking the Casa Cuba from Fuente. It's pretty nice. I think it's like a Toro-ish size. I pulled it from my stash at home, actually. I've labeled all of my rare opus and stuff, and it sits in the bottom of my humidor at home with all the bags labeled with the time that I purchased them. I probably need to be a little more detailed and diligent about doing that moving forward, but I do have ones going all the way back to maybe 2011, 2012. So I try and smoke my oldest. So I pulled this out of the bag, and actually the age on this one is probably 4 years at least, and these age very, very well.
Yeah,
I have to say I'm not overly impressed with them new when you get them, but a few years of age, and I think they're really good. So
Classic.
What did you guys like? Yeah, it's classic taste, absolutely.
Well, I know the brand of what I'm smoking, and I don't know the exact blend. Joe D can help me out with this.
Yeah, smoking the Venganza. But you're going to be getting into the what I'm currently smoking right now, the Hirochi Urbana signature, the original offering from HR. The Hermosa size 5 1/8 by 48, and Ecuadorian Habano seed 2000 wrapper, and just one of those gems. I've been recently getting into the some of those Primo sticks the last couple of days. Treating myself a little bit. A friend had gifted me a Monte Cristo No. 2 Cuban. Had a Bandolero coming into the studio this morning. I've had sitting for a little bit. Been wanting to get into it, so that yeah.
I like that in the Toro, the original one in the Toro size.
That's got a bunch of those boxed and aging right now.
What's kind of scary is you can find those on closeout because they don't sell in every shop.
What? The Bandolero?
No, the HR.
Yeah, right.
Because it's kind of like a very boutique-y kind of brand. I think for
a little
probably
bit of a price point, $19, $20.
Yeah,
and you know, the HR's recently come out. We had Spencer Drake on a few weeks ago, maybe about a month ago or so, and there's a blue and a Claro label and both with a price point of $10, which you know,
I see. So they're
very enjoyable.
Yeah,
absolutely should be directing.
I have one of those to review. I haven't smoked it yet.
Classic Joe D. Yesterday,
Yeah.
when he was enjoying his Monte Cristo #2. I've been playing phone tag with him because of his out of Stogie Geek schedule and my work schedule as well. So I'm playing phone tag with Joe D for 48 hours, and he says, "Give me a call when you have a chance." I said, "Okay." And I said, "I'm gonna call you in 15 minutes." And he goes, "No, no, I'm smoking Monte Cristo #2 Cuban.
Leave me alone.
I need this.
I'll call you." And I'm like, "Really? Like really? Like you?"
Complete euphoria.
I'm like this kid.
On the deck, 50
acumen is driving me
degrees.
crazy.
The weather was right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't much wind up there. I just got lost.
Do not disturb.
My wife was
I get
tasked
it.
with keeping the two hooligans on lockdown in the house. Didn't want them out there disturbing.
But for those of you who know my personality, I'm kind of not someone you put the "Do Not Disturb" sign on. I'm like, what? Like,
Joe's gonna show up in your yard and be like,
if you could text me, damn it, you can talk. Like, you know.
I could tell there was an awkward pause. I had the tunes going. Had Sinatra cranking on the deck too, and
you were in the zone.
I was
He
absolutely
was.
in the zone.
He was
Yeah.
like, "Dude, I'm not talking to you right now." Are you kidding
I
me?
toggled between waiting, and I'm like, you know what? No, the stage is set. Let me just enjoy this thing. It was gifted by a friend, recent friend I made in one of the shops, and yeah, beautiful thing.
Boy, do we enjoy cigars differently. Because I'd be like,
I
"Bro,
like-
you know what I'm smoking right
Yeah,
now? Monte Cristo #2. You're not."
I'd be
you know?
like, come over. Yeah.
Nope.
I don't know.
I had to be
like
selfish.
smoking with other people.
You know, a particular stick like that. That's the ultimate for me, and I had to be selfish, man. I'm not a selfish cat by normal standard, but for that day, that time, I had to have it.
Right. I just thought that was classic.
I know what I wanted you guys to. I've got this. So one of the things that I do apparently is in the security world, people come to me with cigar questions a lot, and they often gift me cigars, which I'm very, very thankful for. But one of the things I've become known for is, Paul, like fake or not, like fake or real when it's a Cuban cigar.
Yeah.
And I try to
River,
have
Texas, and pitches in the middle of the night.
but like I try to have I try and sugarcoat it quite a bit, even though I know like right away by looking at it, I'm like, dude, that's not a Cuban, you got ripped. I try not to. I do my best not to say that. I don't always succeed. But someone had gifted me. They were like, "Is this real or not?" And probably when they asked me, I was a little intoxicated. So I was like, "Dude, yeah, there's no way that's real. I'm sorry."
Right.
And they're like, "No, really?" I'm like, well, look, I'm like looking at the wrapper and the way it's been applied to the cigar. I'm like, there's no way. I mean,
It's very amateur.
and it probably looks like it's gone through some serious kind of hydration, whether that's lack of hydration or too much hydration.
It's tough though. You know that excitement level on the other end of the phone, or you see somebody in person that they're really hyped up, and
No, dude,
you know
it
it's
was
going to
in
be a tough
person.
letdown.
Yeah, it was in person. I totally burst their bubble. And they're like, well, I still want you to take one. I'm like, because I know 100%, probably pretty close to 100%. When I smoke it, it's Cuban. Maybe not 100%, maybe 95%.
Yep.
When I smoke it, I know it's a Cuban. So I took this one out today for whatever reason. I just happened to stumble across it. And I sniffed the foot. Oh, see, I'm going to let you sniff the foot.
I can touch about it. You know,
you can just tell by the wrapper,
I
right?
often get this, and I often get gifts myself of Cubans. And the last Cuban, ironically, it was the same brand.
But give that foot a sniff for me. Come on, stick it right up in there.
Oh, that's not. Yeah, that's not even. It's not even.
It's like dank basement.
Yeah, it's bad.
And
the last one,
get Joe D's.
the last one that was given to me had actually glitter on it.
That's a moldy basement right there.
It's a moldy basement, right?
That's
that's moldy basement. So unfortunately, I'm not
What
gonna.
do you guys call it, Angler?
Yeah, I'm not. I'm definitely not going to attempt to light this one up. This is a definite throw it off the boat.
There you go.
Sorry, whoever purchased those. Now, again, the dank basement smell is from poor handling and hydration. My guess is it was over-humidified, then under-humidified in various points in its lifetime, and then the last phase was over-hydration and some kind of mold. Probably not distilled water. Also, probably entered into the picture as well. Although there's no visible signs of mold on it. Not something you want to smoke.
Trying to fast track that emphysema.
Hey, yeah, exactly.
Somebody gifted me a Bahique, and it was like, Joe, this is real, trusty sauce. I got it, and I smoked it. It was phenomenal. But about 2 weeks before, another guy comes in the cigar shop. Hey, I went on a trip. I thought about
Got
you.
a Bahique.
And I feel so. I look at it. I'm like, oh, okay, thank you. I was like, I just smoked 3. I want to wait for a special time, right? And I look at it, and it's got. I don't even know if I could say this on air, but I think I can. Right? It's got what I call like poon glitter. Like the stripper glitter.
Stripper glitter.
Like it's got a glitter. And then when I
I'm
smelled
not familiar with stripper glitter.
Well, from in my early 20s, sure.
I've heard,
right?
yeah.
But like it had like a sparkle to it. And then I smelled it, and I was like, "It smells like a infused cigar." And I was
cheap
like,
perfume.
Yeah, it was like, "There's no way,"
It was resting comfortably in a pair of gym shorts.
And then the dude was like passing them out. He bought a box of them, and I'm like,
no.
I felt so bad, but it was good.
I'm curious to see what your rating of the stripper glitter cigar is.
But
my interactions, with the fakes, it seemed more often than not military buddies that are stationed here, there, and everywhere, and come back, and they're really fired up. Box it,
A lot of those are in
sticks.
fact real Cubans, though. Yeah.
My buddies so far we're about 0 for 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there was a real one in between.
So that's some of what I've been up to, and I've heard you guys have been fielding a lot of questions like, "Where's Paul?"
Well,
I know where you want to start with.
Well,
this,
let's be candid. A bunch of Stogie Geeks listeners email me or Joe D at StogieGeeks.com or Joe H at StogieGeeks.
Was it abducted by aliens? What happened?
.com. And hopefully you know the difference between Joe H and Joe D, right? At this point, and people were some of the Stogie Geeks listeners were just asking like, hey, you guys been really fourth quarter, October, November, December. Really, since mid-October, really fielding Stogie Geeks. So the first thing is like, is Paul leaving? What's going on? What's going on with the show?
the rumor mill starts churning.
Oh, the rumor mill starts. My favorite one is that I was going to purchase Stogie Geeks.
Paul was captured by ninjas. Did that ever come up?
I heard that this morning.
Paul, and I was like, listen, he's got some stuff to take care of, and I kept saying that. Well, after 6 weeks, then we get into January. You show up episode 1 of 2018 or the first episode of 2018, and then you were dormant again. So I think it's time to let them know what is going on with the show and what your intentions are.
Do you guys know how we started this show, Stogie Geeks? It's been a while since we've talked about it. I know
that you had it was started with you and Mark.
It was Tim actually before that.
There was a shed involved.
So
it was a shed. Yeah, it was out of your
however long ago it was. 4 years ago.
I believe this is the start of your 7th year.
7 years ago. Wow,
7 years.
Jesus. So we I was doing the security show. So there's going to do a computer security show called Paul Security Weekly.
Yep.
And I was just doing that one Paul Security Weekly show. We recorded every Thursday evening, starting at 6. Now, that show started in 2005. Yeah. And very quickly after we started it, I want to say it was maybe 6 months, we said, you know what, we got to land on a regular evening to record the show, just scheduling-wise. Yep. And as you guys can see, that's how we do our shows today. We pick a day of the week and a time, and we do all weekly shows. So for my first podcast ever, we fell into a rotation since 2005 of doing it Thursdays. It was like from 6 to 8. It was actually adjusted times, but when we were in that 6 to 8 rotation, I really wanted to start a cigar podcast. So when I was at my home, I had a workshop built. Those of you remember earlier episodes with the shower curtains, which was hilarious. I had a separate building from my house where we would record Stogie Geeks. Now, we did that right after the Security Weekly show. So we do like 8:30 to 10 or whatever and do kind of a late recording. So do 2 podcasts in one night. Now, fast forward, we came here to the studio. We started renting space next door. So, again, to a point of confusion, we rent space next door to the Havana Cigar Lounge, Havana Club.
24 Quaker Lane?
Yeah, it's the same. We're in a physical 1,100 square feet. We had one unit right next to the Havana Club. And that's where we started recording. So, as we progressed, we started maybe creating, maybe not at that time, we still did it on Thursday nights, but we had access to that whole studio. I moved my office there, and I would work from there. Now, still working a full-time job and working in that 1,100-foot studio. And then maybe about a year after that, where we're sitting today in the studio, which is funny because we call it G Unit Studios. This is actually F Unit. That's G Unit over there. We created a studio. We got another 1,100 square feet. We created a new studio. And it was around that time where I left my full-time job and started doing podcasting full-time. Once we did that, this was my full-time gig. Now we've got 2,200 square feet. The way that we could grow the business is to add more shows. So we started adding more security shows. Since now I was doing it full-time, I could do shows whenever I wanted during my 40-hour conceivable 40-hour work week, right?
Yeah.
But
the life of a small business owner.
Yeah.
80 hours.
During my 80-hour work week, I wasn't tied down to a full-time job. This was my full-time gig. So fast forward to today, there are 7 shows on the security network, 6 of which are recorded here in this studio, in addition to Stogie Geeks. So that's 8 shows that we're now responsible for. Oof. We do these things called webcasts, which doesn't really, it's too bad, it doesn't really translate into the cigar business. But when you sell computer security software or hardware solutions or whatever, you want a list of people's email addresses that register for something. In any case, we have a webcast series. So we did those kind of sporadically. In 2017 and moving to 2018, we've got like 2 webcast series. So we're basically doing 18 or 20 webcasts per year, all of which, well, most of which require some of my time, in addition to co-hosting all of the 6 of the other shows on the network. One of those shows is just done independently by someone remotely. So I'm hosting now basically a show a day. Right. Plus 20 webcasts. Plus now we have about 10 employees. Plus we probably have about a dozen other co-hosts, yourselves included, that all have to be not managed, but you have to manage the process, the show schedule, all that stuff. That stuff takes employees and my time. So late last year, we were furiously trying to build programs for 2018 and then sell those to people so that we could essentially have a business, which fortunately, in case you're wondering, is going really well, which is great. We've got a great series of programming for into computer security. We're doing, again, 7 shows on a network of varying amounts of topics. We still keep Stogie Geeks here in this time slot and will forever because I love cigars, right? So it's just been really my time crunch, and those are the reasons. It's just
not
growth.
Us.
It's not you. It's not the listeners. It's not the industry. It's not nothing more than just my time. Now, in that transition, where I hope to commit to right now probably once or twice a month on Stogie Geeks and work my way back into it full time. Is I've got other people that will be taking up some of my responsibilities. So we have other people that are going to be doing the webcast, other people that are going to be doing some of those shows, and really trying to focus my time on select shows on the network.
Are you getting a host for Stogie Geeks?
Are we getting another host for Stogie Geeks? I don't know. What do you guys think? I would never make that decision without you guys.
Cool.
So
all right. So
obviously, if
we're good. We'll see episode 261.
I mean, I would say if we wanted to make an addition to the crew, I would certainly be open to that. Because four people every week would be awesome. With everyone's schedule, what I've found doing this the past 14 years is that when you have 3 or 4 people, the majority of the time you get at least 2 of them. Some of our shows, our primary show on the network, Paul Security Weekly, which is our oldest running show, this is its 14th year, we probably have 8 hosts for it. Yep. And, typically there's 3 or 4 on any given week because of people's travel schedule or whatever. It's a lot. I mean, those listening, it's a huge time commitment to do a weekly show because it's not just, we sit here and we smoke cigars and we drink coffee and booze and we have a great time. But there's prep in the beginning and then there's a lot of production that happens on the other side, which, the people on the other side of that wall that are doing the production.
Phenomenal job.
They do a phenomenal job, but realize that this is the 8 shows that they're producing at any given time.
And for the Stogie, to back that up, for the Stogie Geek listener who had the opportunity to stop by, when they walk through the doors, they're like, "Oh, I didn't realize that it was this big."
That's the real deal.
Crazy
production.
We have a production crew doing a phenomenal job back there, and doing that and making sure. And sometimes especially when Paul's not in there, I create some demands. No, this set's not going to work. We're going to change the set. And they've done that a couple times, as you noticed, that we've had bigger tables or upper.
Oh, the bench and stuff. Yeah, the higher tables.
The high top and stuff like that.
On the fly, sometimes those guests, the amount of guests will change. And, yeah, you got to act accordingly.
Yeah, what's funny is when you're looking at this video, if you haven't checked out the video, visit our YouTube channel. You can look at the video. Like, it looks like the three of us are sitting in a living room is the way we designed this set. And I really like the vibe and feel of this set, right? There's carpet, there's wood paneling, there's big comfy leather seats. If you were to look like anywhere outside of where the shot is framed, it's like completely different. Completely, like, there's a whole facade over here to my left that has nothing to do with cigars. Beyond my humidor is an entire like technology set with all like, you know, geek nerd trinkets. So what you're looking at is a very small piece of about 1,000 square feet we've got for this studio. Now,
all more reason to come down and witness the show live and really check it out. It's
absolutely.
something to see.
We're working on trying to expand into downstairs, so we'll have a total of 3,300 square feet. Just to give Stogie Geeks listeners like a sneak preview, we're trying to create another podcast studio in the leftover space right next door, and have that be available for people to come in and record podcasts. It'll also serve as a backup studio for us as well. We realize that over 14 years we've amassed quite a bit of equipment, and we can, instead of making that equipment just collect dust, we could actually use it and serve as a functioning live backup. So we've been having meetings talking about how that's going to work out. So we'll see, no promises, but that's the plans we have in place, as well as a pretty big expansion that we're working on for the Security Weekly side of the business as well. Beautiful. So this week is actually, when I say people flying in, it's our sales kickoff meeting for Security Weekly and Stogie Geeks. So
very nice.
We'll be talking about how we continue to get sales.
So there you have it. So Joe Ozempa and Joe D are not buying Stogie Geeks. That is still Paul's gig.
Yeah, I have no plans to sell any of our shows, as it were.
Yeah,
I have no. I'm keeping them all.
You
I
should.
mean, unless someone wants to offer me a ridiculous amount of money, then of course, you know, money talks. So I certainly do that. But I enjoy doing the Stogie Geek show. I just haven't had a lot of time to review cigars and such, but we should be getting back to that this year as I have some more time. Now, speaking of reviewing cigars, I did put together, because we talked about lists, I put together, and I'll run through these really, really quick so you guys can get on with the rest of the show. My top 5, I could probably come up with my second 5, maybe for next week, cigars that I enjoyed smoking this year. Now, what's interesting is 2 of them are actually on the Cigar Aficionado Top 25 list. As much as we talk about whether that's an accurate list or not, 2 of them are on there, which isn't always the case when I do my lists. This isn't anything new that came out this year either, because I didn't feel like I smoked enough new, especially in the last quarter. I really wasn't reviewing a whole lot of cigars because we were really busy with, you know, sales meetings and the like. So, which is good because we have a growing business, which is awesome. And I did smoke cigars, just didn't review a whole lot of new stuff coming out. So I didn't feel that it was appropriate for me to say these are the best new cigars that came out, because I didn't even smoke 80% of the new cigars that came out. I maybe smoked 50%. I didn't think that was a fair shake. So I just focused on what I was like, empty boxes that I had, like stuff I really liked smoking. And the first one on there is a real staple. In fact, I got to get more of these. And that's the Epicurio New Wave Reserva Toro. Of course, this is a Connecticut cigar. It has a Connecticut broadleaf binder. It's Nicaraguan, Dominican. It's medium-bodied. I like the Toro size the best. I mean, this is around a $10 cigar, I think. It's a great stick,
Absolutely
right? I mean, it's probably my #1 like everyday smoking cigar. It has been for quite some time for those who listen to the show. Okay, so that's boring because we talked about it before. I've really been digging the Illusione Fume de Amor.
Oh, man.
And
so
this was on, I'm sorry, this was on a 2014 Cigar Aficionado top, and I believe this is size I like, which is the Clementines, I think they call it, maybe. But this is the 6.5 by 48. And I actually got these on closeout. They weren't selling in a local shop. I bought probably 3 boxes of 3 different sizes. I like the 6.5 by 48 the best. I smoked probably most of that box. Probably have 3 or 4 left in that box. I like it because I can smoke it in the morning. It's got a great sweetness. There's not even really a whole lot of like cedar or earth. It's just like a really sweet cigar. and very well balanced. To pull the flavors out is almost tough because it doesn't have that like traditional cedar or leather or earth. It's got maybe some touches of that.
It's easy to pick out. It's tasty as hell, and a couple of the Lanceros you chipped us off to.
Lanceros are good.
Really
right?
excited to smoke those and go through them. That we said.
Yeah, and those I picked up with 3 years of age on them, which is probably why they're in my. Like I tore through this box of this 6.5 by 48. Tore through it, dude. Like the box didn't stand a chance. I really did like the Fuente Eye of the Shark. And and we've talked about this on previous shows. If I had to look back on all the cigars I smoked this year, I did smoke a number of very special cigars. This quite possibly is in my top of my like hard to find really special cigars. If I had to put one on my top 5 list, this would be the one, dude. Like it was just friggin' amazing. And it does carry a Cameroon wrapper, which probably explains why I like it so much. I want to go back to Avo. We've talked about Avo a ton on the show. The classic number 2, quite possibly for my everyday one I smoke the most of. I lit one of these up the other day. I mean, it probably had a year or 2 of age on it. They're just amazing. And you can find them at a really reasonable price. You can buy them by the bundle. You can buy them by the box. The number 2 just hits the mark for me, which is a 6 by 50 size cigar. Yep. It's in Ecuadorian Connecticut wrapper, so again a Connecticut cigar. It's from the Dominican, and it's just awesome.
Picture of consistency every single time, and
yeah, right. Like you never have construction issues or
any
anything.
Time of day. It's just you know what you're getting.
Versatility is what I like about that cigar. Because it doesn't matter when in the day. I can light it up first thing in the morning or like well after lunch or even dinner. And it's still very enjoyable. The last one on my list, which is a newer offering from Padron. These were introduced in 2016. I don't think they really hit the retailer shelves in masses until 2017. And it's the 1964 series, which people are kind of like, yeah, I like the 26 better. And then there's always the debate, natural or Maduro. In this particular one, their new Hermoso, which was a direct-to-store release for a while. I don't know if they changed the blend or the aging or whatever. It's different, the regular production, I think, than some of the direct-to-store releases. When we've covered those on shows past, when we were talking about this cigar a lot, because, again, it was a direct-to-store or just for one retailer, I forget which one, and then they made it regular production, which seems to be the trend in the industry. Introduce it into a retailer. I think if there's a big enough demand, the manufacturer goes, well, we might as well make more money on this and allow everyone to smoke it since everyone wants to smoke it, hence the demand. I was certainly in that category. I actually bought a box of these. It's a 4x56, a Nicaraguan Puro, of course, from the Padron factory. And I like it in the Maduro better than the natural in this one. For a little short Robusto and a Maduro, this would be my choice. It's probably around that $10. I mean, it's a short cigar for that $10. It's pretty pricey. But I love this cigar. This thing is just, I mean, for some of my shows, like timing-wise, I know I can probably take down a Padron 26 number 9 and a 64 Hermoso. And I'll smoke them in varying order. But I know, like, from the time of the show, like, that's what I have to smoke. So I've been reaching for those quite a bit, and that box is awesome.
Definitely on board more with the 64, and I kind of lean more towards the natural, but they're both phenomenal. It's Padron. It's Padron and top notch. Where you at, Joe? 26 or 64?
Both. If you have the means to toggle in between both of them, go for it. You're definitely not going to be disappointed at all with that. I would probably say accessibility, 24. I'm sorry, 64.
Yep.
24, right? It's you definitely you can't go wrong with any of those selections.
No, not at all.
For sure. What did you? Not to put you on the spot, but I'm putting you on the spot. What did you smoke new? I know you said you haven't, but just 2017 that a couple of blends that came out that you were like, I like that.
Yeah, so I'm glad you asked that because one that almost made my list, and I probably just because I haven't bought a box yet. And that's the Rosa Sharon, but in the smaller size, not the Gordo. What's the other size?
Robusto and Toro.
It's the Toro.
Toro for me. That's the bell of the ball. Size
I think in terms of having another Connecticut cigar kicking around, something that's new, that would be in the Toro size. The Rosa Sharon from Southern Draw would be absolutely my choice. I like that cigar a lot.
My pork tenderloins didn't make the cut, or are they gonna?
I mean, I love smoking the pork tenderloin, but
If he had any left.
I try not to talk about them because
Joe
then
Bulldozer.
your mouth starts salivating.
I am as soon as I come in. I say, "Oh, that's the one."
Yep.
You know, every time a guest comes into the studio, they always take a gander into the humidor, and I says,
I tell
"See
you
that
what-
wrapper? That's the one. That's the one you gotta."
It's out of that
Speaking
shelf.
of what else new, though, I did like Jose Cala, the Cala cigars. I like those a lot. Those are really good. And what's the new one by La Aurora that we had?
ADN or DNA?
Yeah.
The DNA.
Yep.
That one that Manuel came on the show and talked about.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Those two, and I think, I don't know, smoking experience-wise, I tend to have a similar positive experience with both of those.
Right.
I don't want to say they're in the same kind of flavor and category, but in terms of body strength and like what you get out, I'd put them pretty on par. And that's some of the things that I've been reaching for. Probably as I smoke my way through the line and find the size that I like, those could end up being box purchases. But just for a recap, take out the eye of the shark because good luck finding those unless you're into chasing and hunting for them. You got 4. I mean, if I were to buy 4 boxes of cigars to stock up on and ones that I regularly enjoy smoking, AP Carrillo New Wave Reserva Toro, it's the Illusion Fume de Amor, and I want to say that size was it's 6.5 by 48, just to make sure we get it right. Avo Classic number 2 and Padron Hermoso Maduro in the 64 series. You're going to buy 4 boxes. I know our listeners are always kind of clamoring, like, what should I buy? When you're looking for stuff on sale or you're going to your local shop and you want to buy a box,
And do it right
that's
by
my
it, for
recommendation. And there's a couple of Connecticut's in there. The Fume de Amor is a Nicaraguan Puro, so you got a little bit of a change up there. And then, of course, you've got another Nicaraguan Puro in the Maduro, which gives you a little more strength. So it's not all Connecticut's. Some Connecticut's mixed in with other stuff. Which is
Smoking
nice.
up for the Ritmo from Avo this year.
I smoked a couple of them. You know what? I'm not like jumping for joy about. Like we talked about the construction and having it be a real airy,
Loose.
That
Very
kind
loose.
of distracts me from enjoyment on that. To be honest with you.
Yeah. Very from the Avo Synchro series.
Mm-hmm.
That I'd put that not in the top order if we were to do an order.
That one particular size, that Torpedo Lago, that larger size, for me anyway, seems to be the best. Not as airy as the other sizes. That's what I'll reach for. Yeah, but it's not for me. It's not an everyday cigar, but it's.
Yeah, I've seen clients in shops, not clients of mine, clients of the shops, customers of the shop grab it. And they're like, oh, it's an Avo. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. Hold on. Hold on. Did you eat? Yes. Did you eat yet? Right?
Temper that excitement for a minute.
Just, why is it strong? I'm like, there's a lot going on in that cigar. There's just a lot going on in that one.
So that concludes this segment. Hopefully I can allow you to go purchase some great cigars based on my recommendations. And if you hate them, you can send me hate mail, paul@stogiegeeks.com. Thanks, everyone. Take a short break. Come right back.